Have you ever wanted to learn something new and learn it fast? I mean, really fast? Well, today we are diving into a method called ultralearning, and it's a strategy for mastering tough skills at a speed that honestly seems a little bit superhuman. If you've ever felt like school was too slow or just didn't stick, you're in the right place. We're about to unpack a strategy that could completely change the way you learn forever.
So, to understand why we even need a new approach, we have to start with a huge, and I mean huge, problem with how most of us were taught. As psychologist Robert Haskell puts it, the failure of our current system isn't just a minor issue. He calls it an education scandal. That's a pretty strong statement, right? So what exactly is he talking about?
Well, it all boils down to this one super frustrating question. Think about it. Why do we spend years and years in classrooms cramming for tests only to forget almost all of it? The answer has a name. It's called transfer failure. It's this giant gap between knowing something in theory and actually being able to use that knowledge in the real world.
And this is not just a feeling, you guys. The research here is staggering. Studies have shown that top-tier physics students totally freeze up when you give them a basic problem in a slightly new context. Taking high school psychology, it has basically zero impact on how well you'll do in the same college course. It's all pointing to the same thing. Passive classroom learning just doesn't work very well. Okay, so if the old way is broken, what's the alternative? Let's talk about a radical new method, one that was proven by a feat of learning that is, well, it's almost hard to believe. Let me tell you about a guy named Scott Young. He set this absolutely insane challenge for himself. He decided he was going to learn the entire undergraduate computer science curriculum from MIT, one of the best programs on the planet. And we're not talking about a couple of classes. We're talking about 33 of them. Now, a 4-year degree takes, well, 4 years, right? But here's the kicker. He didn't take 4 years. He finished the entire thing in just 12 months, without ever actually going to the university. He called this the MIT Challenge, and the strategy he built to pull it off, that's what we now call ultralearning. So what is this thing? Ultralearning is basically an aggressive, self-directed strategy for learning. It's not about sitting back and waiting for someone to teach you. It's about you taking control, being intense, and focusing everything on one single goal, getting good as fast as humanly possible. Now, Scott Young's full method has 9 principles, but for this explainer, we're just going to zero in on 3 of them. Think of these as the secret sauce of the whole strategy. If you can just master these 3, you can totally transform how you learn anything. And they're so simple to remember. Plan, do, and test. In ultralearning lingo, that's metalearning, directness, and retrieval. Let's break down what each of these really means. Okay, first up is metalearning. This is your planning phase. Before you even start trying to learn the subject, you learn how to learn it. You draw a map. You figure out, okay, what are the big ideas here? What skills do I really need to practice? How did the pros get good at this? Spending just a few hours on this up front can save you hundreds of hours of wasted time later. Next, we have directness. And this is the silver bullet for that transfer problem we were talking about. The idea is just so simple. Instead of learning about the thing you want to do, you just do the thing. You want to learn Spanish? Start speaking Spanish. Badly at first, sure, but you're doing it. You want to learn to code? Start building things. You go straight to the source. And finally, retrieval. Look, most of us were taught to study by just reading our notes over and over again, maybe highlighting some stuff. It turns out that's incredibly ineffective. The best way to make knowledge stick is active recall. You know, closing the book and forcing your brain to pull the information out of memory. Testing yourself isn't just for a grade. The very act of testing is one of the best ways to learn. Okay, so the principles sound cool, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's check out some truly incredible examples of what's possible.
All right, so take this guy, Tristan D. Montebello. He's a musician, so he's fine being on a stage, but he had almost no experience giving actual speeches. He decides, okay, public speaking is going to be my ultralearning project. So he practices with total directness, getting constant feedback, and just grinding. The result? He becomes a finalist in the World Championship of Public Speaking. That's in the top 10 out of a field of 30,000 people. It's just wild. And you might be thinking, okay, that must have taken him a decade. Nope. This whole transformation from total beginner to a world-class competitor took him just 7 months. Or what about the polyglot Benny Lewis? His entire method is basically directness on steroids. He'll pick a language, fly to the country, and from the moment he lands, he speaks only that language. He doesn't wait to feel ready, he just dives in head first. His goal is to be conversational in about 3 months. It's aggressive, yeah, it's probably uncomfortable, but man, is it effective. Now, these stories are amazing, but ultralearning isn't just for these extreme, life-changing projects. You can apply these principles to learn literally anything. So let's talk about how you can set up your own small project, like today. First, spend a few hours on your metalearning, your research. Figure out the best way to tackle this. Second, define your scope. Don't say, I'm going to learn programming. That's way too big. Say, I'm going to build one simple app. See the difference? And third, and this is maybe the most important part, actually schedule the time. Put it in your calendar. If it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen. And please remember this one thing. It is so easy to get stuck in the planning phase, trying to find the perfect book, the perfect course, the perfect whatever. The best research in the world means nothing if you don't act on it. Your goal isn't to have a perfect plan. Your goal is just to start. You can always adjust as you go. So that brings us to the big question. Learning isn't just about collecting facts, right? It's about expanding what's possible for you. The confidence you get from mastering one hard thing, it just spills over into everything else. So the only real question left is, if you actually applied these ideas, what could you learn? And who could you become?